So next year, did you get one of these? I have them both over here. Yeah, I have them both over here. So this is just a general synopsis of the game.
Okay.
And what you have in your hand is the freelooting fills, command and covers, Napoleonics, each different type of unit.
Yeah.
And we'll go through the units in just a few minutes, but like the overall concept of how the game works.
Okay.
So you'll get a hand of command cards dictated by the scenario. Again, we're playing Freeland, and each one of us will draw. The Russian guy will draw 5 cards, and the French guy will draw 6 cards, and the French commander moves first. And whoever gets 8 victory banners wins the scenario, which is eliminating a whole unit.
Okay.
The river is impassable.
Okay. Except that the bridges I would take.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the river owl is impassable.
Oh, this is okay.
The mill stream is fordable, which is here.
This is one. Okay.
Yep. And the shallow fords do not stop movement.
Okay.
So there's something called a pre-battle Mother Russia roll, which will go in for you. Some of your units start with 3, these guys here, and you'll roll some dice and see if you get some reinforcements, and you can decide where to place those paper light markers with those units to indicate that they are paper light, and you'll get an extra unit for each one of those. We'll go over that when the game actually begins.
All right.
So the sequence of play is you play a card, and you look at the card, and it'll tell you what the card can do. The rules are basically built into it. The game board is divided into sections. You've got right, center, left, and on your side, your right, your center, your left.
Oh, my right over here, center.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the dividing line, I guess, is the dotted line here and here.
Yep.
Got it.
And anything that hits on both hexes can be ordered by either section.
Okay.
So if you've got a 1-1-1, you could order. We don't have any on the line.
Right,
here.
but like over here, this one could count for the center or for the left.
Exactly. Exactly. So the sequence of play is you play a card, you order all the units, so you decide which ones you're going to order. You move all the units that you want to move, and then you fire with all the units. So it's kind of like you've got to commit to that movement, and that firing action is the last thing. All the units fire. You don't have to decide where you fire, but you do have to follow that order all, move all, and fire all sequence.
Okay.
Some cards have special things that happen, like force march all the units in an infantry. Again, the rules are built into the card, and it'll tell you exactly what you can do. And we'll go over any questions that you have about cards and things like that. But that's generally what you can do. The last thing to note is that anything with a bicorn hat in it, you can order a leader to separate from a group and move to another group.
All right.
So if you have 3 orders, you can take one of those orders and either separate a unit from a group and move him up to 3 spaces away.
Yeah.
Or you can have a unit like this, order him to join a unit and attach himself to there.
Okay.
So the second thing is, like we talked about, we order your units. Third thing is move your units and your leaders. And like I said, those leaders are attached. Combat. You can do ranged combat or melee combat. Then after you do all of your combat, then you draw a new command card, and that's the end of the turn.
Okay.
So the way the dice work is that there are 2 blues, so you're more likely to hit on infantry.
Right.
There is 1 cavalry.
Right. 1 artillery.
Artillery, 1 flag.
And 1 crossed swords.
Yep. So cross swords work in melee. So if you're attacking somebody, you roll the swords, you hit on melee. If you roll a flag, somebody has to retreat. If you roll 2 flags, they have to retreat. And then this sheet will tell you exactly how far they have to retreat. So certain units usually retreat 1 for infantry.
Yeah, militia retreat 3.
Yes.
But I don't think I have any militia in this.
No militia in this.
Sorry. Cool.
Cavalry does not have to retreat that bad. The Cossacks are really bad about retreating.
Right.
Again, going back to blocking someone's retreat path or the path being blocked. If you have to retreat beyond the backside of your board here, or if your path is blocked, you take 1 block for each off your units for each retreat.
Right.
Cossacks are special units because they don't get counted as victory awards if I destroy them.
Right.
They're very weak, but they're basically out there to pester me and all that stuff like that. Okay, so melee. We'll go over the charts on how the attacks work in just a minute. Leader casualty checks. Each time a unit with a leader in the block, you roll 2 dice to see if you have a leader casualty, and 2 X's, 2 swords, is a leader hit, and that leader is removed from the game and counted as a victory point.
Okay.
Okay. Retreats. We talked about that already. Bolstering morale. So units with units to their side or adjacent to them are bolstered in their morale, so they can ignore 1 flag. If you were to attack this unit here, he could ignore a flag, or a unit with a leader can ignore a flag, and that can help prevent those deadly retreats.
All right. If
a unit's destroyed and this leader's left, you do a leader check with 1 die. If you rolled an X on there, that unit is killed, and then he's taken as an award. And if there's not an X or a cross swords, he can retreat up to 3 spaces directly behind him and join another unit.
Okay.
Infantry can take ground. They cannot fire again. A cavalry breakthrough. Cavalry units that attack units and the units retreat or are eliminated. The cavalry can move forward and attack again. And you get a +1 to your movement on that. If an infantry is attacking cavalry, you can do a cavalry retire reform. A cavalry unit being attacked in melee combat by an infantry unit, unit may choose to retire and reform, which means when they attack, they only hit on yellow.
Okay.
Everything else is in yellow. Infantry may go into square, and when you go into square, you'll take one of these little chits to denote that they are in square and place it on the unit, and then you'll lose one of your command cards, effectively taking your command down. Combine arms. If you have a unit that is adjacent to another unit and you have line of sight with your artillery, you can do a combined arms attack, which means you will shoot with your artillery at the same time while you're attacking with the unit here. And what happens with that is that those swords that usually don't count in a long-range attack count in that attack.
Okay.
The difficulty in that is getting the line of sight, especially if you were here. You have to be able to see here, and line of sight straight down the spine.
Right.
One side of the spine can be blocked, but not both sides. So if you have something here and something here, that's blocked.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And it's center to center, if there's any questions about that. And that's pretty much it.
All right.
So now, looking at your chart on the game here.
Yeah.
And you'll go down to the different types of units. We'll start with the Russians. So the line infantry, its code is LI, just for...
right, that's just their abbreviation.
Yeah.
LT for lights, GR for grenadiers,
yeah.
GG for guard grenadiers, like these guys right here.
And it starts with 3 blocks, can go up to 4 with the paper rule.
Yeah.
The movement is 1 in battle, so you can move 1 space in battle or not move at all in battle. Your range is always 2 for infantry, except for the British rifles, which can shoot 3. So firing, when it says blocks, that means the number of blocks that you have. So as the number of blocks get reduced in the game, your firepower is effectively reduced.
Right, so it's 1/2 blocks rounded up. So these 3 would fire as 2 blocks. So if 2 dice, I guess.
If you fire standing, or fire and hold, it's the number of blocks that you have. If you move and fire, it's half your blocks.
Oh, it's half. I see. Yeah.
Now some guys are half rounded up +1. Some are half rounded down.
Right.
Like the militia, which I don't have and stuff like that.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So moving is sort of bad in this game. If you're able to stand and fire, it's really.
The guards are like half blocks rounded up +1.
Yeah.
Cool.
And your movement is always 1, except for the guard lights. Cavalry, the lights can move 3 in battle. Heavy cavalry can move 2 in battle. And as I'm sure you know, just to see it, cavalry can only attack in melee.
Right.
The guard light cavalry retreats 2 flags. The guard heavy cavalry retreats 2 flags. And you can see the guard heavies.
Well, it ignores 2 flags. In other words, I guess it would take 3 flags to come.
Oh, ignores. I'm sorry.
Right.
So there is a retreat space and then ignores, right?
Yeah.
And then artillery typically fires 4, 3, 2, 1, 1. So 4 dice, 3 dice,
okay,
2 dice, 1 dice.
got it.
4, 3, 2, 1, 1.
Yeah, horse artillery 3. Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, horse artillery can.
And then when you're down to 1 block, it's got reduced firing capabilities. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it changes that. Okay. Now, going back to terrain. So most of the terrain, if you look at the chart here, you'll see a blue section for the infantry. You'll see yellow for the cavalry and red for artillery. And then the top part is usually the in, and the bottom part is usually the out. So if you're attacking a unit that's in the forest, it's -1 into the forest, no effect shooting out of the forest. For a hill, it's -1 shooting up the hill, and no -1 ranged hill to hill, and no effect shooting downhill. You'll notice that there are differences between the infantry and the cavalry and the artillery, and how each one of those terrain is affected there.
Okay.
Let's see, fordable river. Must stop. I think that for this, you don't stop terrain for this fordable river. I'm sorry, you don't stop movement for fording through this terrain, but you'll usually only move one, so I don't think it's going to mess with anything. So a square may not be formed if at 2 or lower in command cards, or if infantry is on buildings or in fieldworks. When attacked by cavalry, infantry may form a square. Place a random card in their track. Squares always attack first when in battle with cavalry. They'll roll a die. If it's a retreat symbol, the cavalry will be forced to retreat. If it is a cavalry symbol, the cavalry unit will take a hit. Squares and cavalry attack each other with 1 die. Squares cannot move or retreat, but lose blocks instead, so as they're forced to retreat. Ordered units may come out of square when there is no cavalry adjacent, and as soon as that unit is ordered again, you get your card back. Cavalry breakthrough we already talked about. Artillery on a hill may fire over an adjacent unit or a leader on a lower level.
Okay.
You can fire hill to hill.
All right.
So leaders attached to a unit allows the unit to ignore a flag. Lone leaders count as support. And I'm not sure what that means. When a unit rolls 2 dice casualty checks for 2 sabers, if 1 dice the unit is destroyed, surviving leader retreats 1 to 3 spaces. The lone leader may not be fired upon, but may be meleeed with normal dice. Any saber is a hit.
Okay.
All right, that's it for the rules explanation. That's the fun part.
Okay.
All right, going back to the scenario notes. I'm going to shuffle these real quick.